Today on Rappler. A New York Times report says the Filipino American vote in swing state Nevada may be the deciding factor in the state. U.S. intelligence blames Russia for a disinformation video showing a Haitian immigrant allegedly voting multiple times in Georgia. Comelec continues to accept certificates of candidacy for the BARMM election despite moves to postpone the parliamentary elections. Israel terminates its agreement with the United Nations Palestinian Relief Agency. And angry crowds throw mud at the Spanish king and queen in the aftermath of flash floods that killed at least 217 people. A New York Times report says overlooked Filipino American voters in swing state Nevada may be the deciding factor in the state. Nevada is one of the 7 battleground states and home to a fast-growing Filipino community. Both campaigns of Democrat Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump have tried to reach the Pinoy vote. Vice presidential candidate Tim Walz and Harris's sister Maya have campaigned to Filipino American voters in Nevada. Harris's campaign ads now also have Filipino Americans as talking heads. Trump's campaign, for its part, sent U.S. senatorial candidate Sam Brown to a Filipino community event. Meantime, Harris appeared on comedy show Saturday Night Live. Harris, portraying herself, appeared as the mirror opposite of actress Maya Rudolph. The two traded variations on Harris's first name, saying Americans want to end the dramala in politics with a cool new stepmomala. The two said in unison, "Keep Kamala and carry onala." United States intelligence agencies blame Russia for creating and spreading a video of a Haitian immigrant allegedly voting multiple times in the battleground state of Georgia. Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger calls the video targeted disinformation and says it was likely produced by Russian troll farms. Raffensperger appeals directly to social media companies, urging them to remove the video from their platforms. Analyses by misinformation trackers NewsGuard and Common Cause both identified a post by an anonymous account on X as the likely first version of the video to appear online. Georgia is one of the 7 battleground states expected to determine the winner on Tuesday's U.S. presidential election between Republican former President Donald Trump and Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris. Elections Chairman George Garcia says the Commission on Elections will continue accepting certificates of candidacy for the Bangsamoro until November 9 for the 2025 parliamentary elections of the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARMM. This despite Senate President Francis Escudero's announcement that he would file a bill to postpone the parliamentary elections. Garcia, who arrived in Cotabato for the start of the filing period, says only a legislative act could alter the Comelec schedule. Escudero notes a recent Supreme Court ruling excludes Sulu province from the predominantly Muslim region. Sulu was initially allocated 7 representatives in the BARMM parliament. Escudero notes the decision could affect party list and sectoral representation in the regional legislative body. BARMM's interim parliament, the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, passed a resolution on October 22, delaying the region's first regular parliamentary elections from 2025 to 2028. Israel terminates its agreement with the United Nations that regulates its relations with the main UN relief organization for Palestinian refugees, or UNRWA. The agreement had been in place since 1967. UNRWA provides aid and education services to millions of Palestinians in the occupied West Bank and Gaza. Last month, the Israeli parliament banned UNRWA from operating in Israel and stopped Israeli authorities from cooperating with it. This doesn't directly outlaw UNRWA operations in occupied Palestine, considered by international law to be outside Israel, but under its occupation. Israel has long been critical of UNRWA, accusing it of anti-Israel bias. Meantime, at least 31 people are killed during Israel's Gaza assault on Sunday, November 3. Medics say at least 13 Palestinians were killed in attacks on houses in Gaza's largest historic refugee camps. Angry crowds throw mud and chant murderers at the Spanish king and queen as they visited flood-hit Valencia in Spain, which suffered the worst of the catastrophic flooding. The torrential rains and flash flooding killed 217 people, most of them in the Valencia region, and more than 60 in the Paiporta suburb. Spain faces rising discontent over the sluggish response to the catastrophe. Valencia region president says 69 municipalities across the entire region were either totally or partially affected by the flooding. The calamity is deemed as Europe's worst weather disaster in half a century. The number of dead is now past the 209 killed during the heavy floods in Romania in 1970. Floods in Portugal in 1967 killed nearly 500 people. Officials say the death toll has stabilized because all the victims on the surface had been identified. And that's today's wrap. I'm Kara Oliver. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Rappler's YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok.